Well guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to pit 6. We're back down on the A1 pits, 48 hours, seems like forever since I did the last video. Don't want to come down here all the time and do the same old stuff, but it's got to the end of October and it's time to do something again for you guys and for the channel. We're down for 48 hours, like I said, we're on pit 6, we're down on the Trent bank and we'll go through soon why I've picked this bank and what we're doing. So guys, I've got the rods out, got the rigs ready, and what I'm going to do for tonight is put some PVA bags out. I'll go into detail a bit more tomorrow why I'm doing what I'm doing, but just for the time being, I'll just quickly show you what I'm up to. So there's a 3-ounce lead that's going to go inside a PVA bag, and inside there 4.5 inches of a real soft supple braid, a really big hook, a size 4, it's a wide gate X. What I've got out there is real thick weed beds. Two things I want to happen. Firstly, I want that hook to stay in once it's in. Secondly, I want the lead to come off. So I've got it set up in line so you get the full maximum weight at the front when the fish picks it up. But when the fish does pick it up, it can pull out the front of the lead and then the fish can shake it off. And then hopefully the fish will rise to the surface and it'll make it a lot easier to get it through that weed. With the amount of weed I've got there, if I get fish ploughing through it with a lead on, there's pretty much no chance I'm going to get it back in. So that rig is going in a pre-tied PVA bag. What I've done is tied these up on real short leg core leaders. That one there you can see is a yeller, so it's going to hopefully mimic a little bit of sweet corn that I'm putting out in the mix. I'll show you that a bit later. But there's the bag, nice and compact, nice and tight. Made up maybe 24 hours in advance, so the pellets have sucked any moisture out of that bag. So that's now rock hard. Goes out nice and true and is easy to cast, which is a good job because I'm going 30 wraps. Okay guys, there you go. I've got 3 rods out, 3 bags, the ones I showed you earlier. 2 on a match the hatch, 1 on a yeller. Trying to just mimic a bit of that corn. I know it's not exactly the same, but the principle's there. Been spomming over the top, maybe 20 spoms of that crushed up boilie, sweet corn, and just a few maggots in there, just to try and gain their attraction. Nothing of any food value, but I'm gonna keep putting it out on a regular basis, especially if I catch something. Let's see how the night goes. Well, there you go, guys. First fish of the trip. Hopefully more to follow. Mid-double common, this one. Certainly built for speed. Really long fish. Managed to drop the lead straight away on them tight lines. Caught on that PVA bag over the baited spot. Really wet night, but a nice wake-up call this morning. It's time to get the bags back out and top up with a few more spawns of bait. See what today brings. Okay guys, so it's Saturday morning and I just wanted to go through basically why I chose the area I'm in. I think I mentioned last night when I first set up, it's the end of October. It's actually the clocks going back weekend, clocks go back tonight. Halloween Monday night. You guys get an extra hour in bed tomorrow morning. Unfortunately for me, I'm fishing. Some might say fortunately. It doesn't make any difference. First light's still going to be first light, so apart from pack up time tomorrow, nothing's going to change. Now, when I got here yesterday, it was quite late in the afternoon. It's sort of dark by 5:45 now, especially if it's overcast. You know, I'm not getting here till 3:30, 4 o'clock. Not really got time to drive round and look for showing fish. Not that I'm really going to see a great deal this time of year or at that time in the afternoon. So what I wanted to do was drop in somewhere where I knew I could set a certain range up and it'd be relatively clear. Now the reason I say that is because this year this lake, Pit 6, has been very weedy. To my left, because I'm halfway down the Trent bank basically, to my left and out in front is very weedy. I do know there's clear spots out here because obviously I was wrapped up a couple of weeks ago, and last night before I put the bags and the bait out, I just clipped a single lead on, no marker float, and just had 2 or 3 casts where I wanted to put the bait and just to make sure it's still clear. So that's what I did. That's why I chose this area primarily. Now, one of the other reasons I chose this area, I'm actually on the back of the wind here, which is going to help which is going to help with spomming and putting those PVA bags out. Now, this time of year, I don't worry too much about wind direction, unless I'm seeing fish or it's a westerly. That's a different ballpark. But this wind's been this direction for probably 2 weeks. It's changed from a southeast to a southwest. It's not really any different. It's not a new wind, so I've kind of discounted the wind and used it to my advantage to get casts out. So I'm on the back of the wind. That was obviously a consideration, especially with all the rain that's supposed to be coming in and the rain that we've already had early hours of this morning. The other reason being, although it's the end of October, it is very, very mild. Still double figures at night and some days up to 17, 18 in the daytime. I mean, that's phenomenally warm for this time of the year, and we've got to be thankful really, because some years you're getting the odd frost by now. So I don't want to be completely in deep water. To my right is much deeper water than where I am. To my left is shallower, but obviously a lot weedier. I still think the fish are going to be visiting them weed beds, especially in the daytime. Maybe not so much at night, but especially in the daytime. The weed I've pulled in, you know, it's not dead, it's not dying, it's not collapsing in the swim, there's still food in it. So I want to be in and around that weed, but I just want that little bit more depth. Probably the final reason is I'm right in the middle of the lake. I've got a good view here. I can see everything that's happening. I can see what other people are doing. Hopefully, I can make something work in the 48 hours that I'm here. Okay guys, so while my breakfast is sizzling away in the background like a good one, I'm just going to go through the bait that I'm actually using on this session and how I'm getting it out there, and you know, basically what I'm up to. I'm going to be using chopped boilie, sweet corn and a few maggots in the mix. That's what I'm spomming out. Obviously that's going over the top of the PVA bags, and the idea behind the bags is A, to get around the weed, and B, as a main attraction, something to home in on. The maggots are more visual and movement, sweet corn's definitely visual, and the chopped boilie is all to do with the scent and smell. So the idea behind the baiting strategy is little and often. So last night, just to kickstart the swim, I put about 15 spoms out. Chopped boilie, sweet corn, maggot. I just want that attraction and that scent in the water, and I've tried to get it fairly tight. I've got all 3 rods on one spot, and I've just got the one alternative hook bait in the yellow pop-up cut down to look like a wafter. What I'm trying to do is get the fish in the area but not give them too much to feed on. I want them to be looking around for it, because obviously if they're up in the water, they're going to see the sweet corn and they're going to see the movement of the maggots. The bait's there to attract them down, but it's not to fill them up. And then hopefully they'll home in on the PVA bags. So guys, that's the plan for the 48 hours ahead. Hopefully we can make something happen and work on that fish that we had this morning. Real beautiful common, real long and quite dark and chestnut colours. That's the beauty of this time of year. I'm going to keep putting them spoms out on a 3-4 hourly basis, and also just before it gets dark. If I'm lucky enough to catch something, I'm going to top up straight afterwards, but only 2 or 3 spoms. And let's see if we can make the tactics work on this session. Okay guys, so I think I mentioned, if not Friday night, certainly this morning, that I'm fishing in and around plenty of the green stuff. Now this is some of the stuff that I dragged in on Friday night when I was looking for my clear spot that I found a couple of weeks ago, and I wasn't too bothered about what I was fishing over. I'm approximately a rod length past all this, at least I hope I am, and when I wound it in I found it's still very green and it did have some food in it. So I still think the carp probably visiting these areas, especially if I'm putting something enticing just past it. Now, I certainly don't want to be landing in this because in places it's 3 to 4 foot deep. I don't think it's as thick as what you see in here. Obviously it's standing up off the bottom. You know, I can punch through it with those PVA bags, and that's one reason that's what I'm doing. You will have noticed on a couple of my casts with the bags, I didn't quite hit the clip hard enough. What I'm actually doing is trying to hit the clip with the rod forward. Once the bags hit the water, I pull the rod back and then drop it down. Now, once the bags hit the bottom, if there's too much slack and I'm able to, with the clip still in the clip, pull the line back to where my rods are, I know that I haven't hit the clip hard enough, and there's a very good chance I'm going to have dropped in that weed. So guys, what I'm saying, if you cast out and you don't feel confident that you've hit the clip hard enough and you've dropped your PVA bag in the right place, then wind it in. Have plenty made up before you get here. Make them up at home. If you loop to loop method them like I do, then you can have 7, 8, 9 or as many as your heart's content really. Just make sure you are on that clear spot that you found previously. Okay guys, so we've got a lot of rain coming in. This is perfect bite time, or what I found in the past. Just after first light and all the way up to 11 o'clock in some cases. Now from now till about 11 we've got rain coming in, and I just feel like I'm going to miss out on that extra bite. So what I've done is I've put 3 more spoms out, exactly the same stuff, that chopped up boilie, a little bit of corn, a little bit of maggot, just to freshen up the swim. Hopefully when that rain stops around about 11, it might be a good time for a bite. Okay guys, there you go, second fish of the session. While I was trying to deal with this fish, get the camera ready, the recast rod has gone again, so I've actually got another one to show you. A bit smaller, that one. This one just made 24 pound, much better fish. It's absolutely tipping it down with rain. Camera's under the brolly, but it's not stopping the fish feeding. It's going to rain now for another 4 hours, so I've just topped up with a few spoms because just show you the other side of this beautiful fish. Got a very distinctive scale pattern down near its tail. Be quite recognisable when it gets a bit bigger. Hopefully I'll join the 30s club. In the meantime, we'll get her back where she belongs. So I'm not sure who's wetter, her or me. Well, there you go guys. Third fish of the session, second one for the morning. It's only about 14 pound this one for the future. I wouldn't have bothered with the camera normally, but I'd already got it out for that other common, so it'd be rude not to. Show you what the future holds. We get this one back, because we're both getting soaking wet. Wow, I don't know if you can see the smile on my face, but it's certainly from ear to ear. That rain's cleared up, just like I knew it was going to, and putting them extra spoms out this morning after them two fish has paid off in spades. Check that out. Real good 20 this one. Fantastic fish came over that bait again. I just knew once that rain had cleared, The sun's trying to come out, things are drying up. I knew I was in for an opportunity. Fantastic scale patterns, not quite a linear, but who cares? What a fish, especially after them 3 commons to get something like this. Unbelievable. There you go, the other side, just as beautiful. Wow. Didn't even realise fish like this in here existed. That's the beauty of the A1 pits. You never know what you're going to catch next. 3 beautiful commons, and then bang, a lump of a mirror. A lot more scales than you normally find on the fish in here. Definitely not complaining. Unbelievable. So made up. Just makes a change when you actually do something, it pays off. Brilliant. Well guys, that's it for this week, that's it for this session. Thanks very much for watching, and I hope to see you again down here soon. Hopefully, not so long this time in between filming. I've had 4 beautiful fish, and 2 very nice ones to boot. Finishing off nice and lovely with that 27 pounder. Can't argue with that, certainly not at the end of October. Well, clock's gone back now, gonna get me extra hour in bed tomorrow morning. See you again guys.